The following podcast contains discussions of real crimes and may include descriptions of violence, sensitive topics, or adult themes. Listener discretion is advised. While we make every effort to present accurate information, some details may vary as sources and reports differ. The opinions expressed by hosts and guests are their own and do not reflect the views of any organizations or sponsors. This podcast is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Our goal is to shed light on true events while maintaining respect for victims, survivors, and their families. Hello, everyone. My name's Kayla Herrick, and I'm here with Michaela Jarrett.
Hey!
And welcome to Crime Time, CM Life's crime podcast, where we will dive into true crime, cold cases, urban legend, and paranormal activities.
Speaking of paranormal activity, stay tuned until the end because we investigated Warner Hall, which is a CMU hall that's known to be haunted.
In this episode, we are just going to focus on 5 true crime stories: the Ellen Greenberg case, the cannibal killer right here in Swartz Creek, Michigan, the pizza bomber, the Gabby Petito case, and the Brian Kohberger case. We are starting out with the Ellen Greenberg case, and this one happened in Pennsylvania, and she was found with more than 20 stab wounds inside her Manayuk apartment. The original autopsy revealed that she had been stabbed 20 times in the neck, back, head, and heart, and she had 11 bruises. Her fiancé found her. He called 911 before breaking the door down of her apartment after she said she wouldn't answer his calls or texts. The latest report added 3 superficial stab wounds and 20 additional bruises. Greenberg's family has long sought to get her suicide ruling changed to homicide or underdetermined. The whole issue with this thing and why I got so many eyes on it and made a whole documentary about it on Hulu is because all of a sudden it was changed from homicide to suicide. And also the way that the fiancé went about the whole situation was pretty sketchy. She was discovered by her fiancé in January 2011 at the Venice Lofts on the 4,600 block of Flat Rock Road. The city's medical examiner's office initially ruled her death as a homicide, but then later changed it to a suicide after provided by the police, just like I said. In 2019, the family of Ellen Greenberg asked the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office to re-review the case. However, District Attorney Larry Krasner sent the case to Pennsylvania Attorney General's office because he had previously represented the Greenbergs. Earlier this year, the pathologist who performed her autopsy reversed his findings, saying he no longer believed Greenberg killed herself. But on Monday, October 13th, which this year, the Philadelphia Medical Examiner's Office, after reviewing the evidence in the case, issued a report reaffirming its earlier findings. In a 32-page document, Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Lindsay Simon concluded the manner of Ellen Greenberg's death is classified as a suicide. And that was the final word of her whole autopsy. So we're going to go all the way back to December 2010. The month leading up to her death, Greenberg's parents and friends began to notice a significant change in her behavior. Ellen, who had always been cheerful and composed, became increasingly anxious and stressed. I want to leave this place, get me out, is something that she said to her parents. Shortly thereafter, Ellen had also asked a cousin who lived in Philadelphia area if she could temporarily move into the cousin's home and stay with her family. When asked if her fiancé also would be joining her, Ellen did not respond. So that, yeah, it's very fishy. And mind you here, I'm going to go down to the actual day of when it happened. This is January 26, 2011. At 7 a.m., Ellen spoke to her mother. And then at 12 p.m., Ellen received a text from her friend, "Yeah, you getting out early," and replied with, "Thank goodness." And then at 1:15 p.m., Ellen Greenberg left her job early as schools closed due to severe weather. And then we're just going to fast forward a little bit. Ellen sends her final text at 3:47 p.m. Goldberg exits the gym, which is her fiancé, and attempts to unlock the apartments, finds the interior swing bar door latch, and begins calling and texting Ellen repeatedly. "Hello, open the door. What are you doing? I'm getting pissed. You better have an excuse. What the you have no idea." And
you have no idea?
Yeah, that just seems very odd. And a lot of cases, usually the significant other is very much involved. So it's just very weird how her death became ruled as a suicide rather than a homicide. And And then approximately 40 minutes, Goldberg is banging on the door, shouts her name, but receives no reply. Neighbors later report hearing him yell Ellen's name. He goes downstairs to the lobby, asks doorman Phil Hanton to help break the latch. Hanton refuses, explaining it violates policy, but offers to call the police. Mind you, it is now 6 p.m., and her last text was around 4 p.m. Hanton then calls Ellen's phone twice from the lobby line, no answer. Okay, at 6:33 p.m., Sam Goldberg calls 911. Samuel was instructed to remove Ellen's sweater and administer CPR, because once he was able to get into the apartment, he saw her laying there in the kitchen with a knife next to her, as well as many stab wounds. And Goldberg lifted the victim's slouched head in order to perform CPR, and at the moment, Goldberg discovered the knife lodged into the victim's chest, as well as one that was next to her. Operator instructed Sam Goldberg to stop administering CPR, and the paramedics are on the way. And then the dispatcher is saying, where is she bleeding from? I don't know. I can't tell. I'll walk you through CPR if you're willing. I have to, right? Yes. Lay her on her back and remove her shirt. Her shirt won't come off. It's a zipper. Oh my God, she stabbed herself. Weird for him to assume that, because from what I watched in the documentary, he kept on saying that she had mental health issues and that he knew this was going to happen and stuff like that. And it was just a very odd situation. And the dispatcher goes, she stabbed herself. I guess so. I don't know. Or she fell on it. There's a knife sticking out of her heart. Don't do CPR. Wait for police and medics. And then the call duration was about 3 minutes. The emergency responders arrive on scene. And Ellen was found in a semi-upright position between two corner cabinets. And at 6:42 p.m., she was pronounced dead. When medics arrived, they found Ellen, obviously, like I just said, next to the two corner cabinets. And then homicide detectives from Philadelphia Police Department responded, and final document assessment of her body at the scene made by MEO investigator. And then fiancé arrived by police transport to the Northwest Detectives Division of the Philadelphia Police Department for questioning, and the body was removed at an estimate 3 a.m. for autopsy. And still, after years and years of her family trying to get justice, it still was ruled as a suicide, which honestly breaks my heart, because it's weird how you can have stab wounds on your back. It's very weird that
20 of them, mind you.
Yeah, quite literally 20 stab wounds on your back, and somehow it is ruled as a suicide. I don't even think I can, physically, reach. It seriously just seems like, how can you, do that? Because it'd be very painful, even after one.
Yeah.
I don't...
And, not to be morbid, but,
yeah.
If I were to use a knife to kill myself, I wouldn't stab myself in the back.
No, seriously, that's kind of crazy, but also kind of metaphorical.
Wow.
But justice for Ellen, because me personally, I don't think it was a suicide. I don't think it was a suicide whatsoever.
Hey, it doesn't make any sense. Mm-mm. Hope this helps.
It doesn't. Hope this helps.
Hope this helps.
Yeah, makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Hopefully her family gets justice at some point, but as the looks of it, it still is ruled as a suicide, which is unfortunate. But next, we are going into something that happened quite literally an hour and 45 minutes away from here in Swartz Creek, Michigan, which is right by Flint. Yeah, the cannibal killer, a.k.a. Mark Latunsky, which I remember learning about this in high school when I took a criminal law class. Shout out Miss Abenaj. Love you, girl. This is about, basically, this is a summary. A guy was on Grindr, and he obviously wanted to get laid, and it was Christmas Eve, and nobody heard from him at all, and he came up murdered, and it's insane. Here we go. On December 24th, 2019, Kevin Bacon, 25, also what a name, that's a very distinct
Kevin
name.
Bacon, yeah.
Yeah. Was murdered by Mark Latunsky, a 50-year-old man that he met on Grindr. Latunsky, with a history of severe mental illness, ate Bacon and ate some of his remains.
Oh, after castrating him?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. This situation took place in Swartz Creek, Michigan, like I said. On that night, Bacon used Grindr, a dating app for the LGBTQ community, to connect to Mark, a 50-year-old man living in nearby Bennington Township. Bacon left home around 5:20 p.m. that night in hopes of a holiday hookup. He texted his roommate, Michelle Myers, less than an hour later, saying he wasn't sure when he'd be coming home. He was reported missing on Christmas Day and was never seen alive again. When his vehicle and cell phone were recovered in a store parking lot that day, police soon found their way through the app to killer Mark Latunsky's home. He was diagnosed in 2010 and 2012 with severe, reoccurrent, and chronic major depression with psychotic features, adjustment disorders with depression and anxiety with paranoid schizophrenia, and borderline personality traits. Literally everything in the goddamn book. Like, how is this man...
boom, boom.
No, seriously, boom, boom. How is this man walking the streets?
I don't know.
It makes no sense to me. Like, that man should have been in a straitjacket. Zero empathy for this man. Absolutely awful. And his ex-wife claimed he had failed to take his medication. He would watch torture movies. The signs were there, babe. The signs
were there.
It's absolute. I can't. Like, this.
Torture movies?
Yeah, this whole situation is just so messed up. Victor. Ooh, I'm so sorry if I butcher this name. Victor Petreca? Petreca?
I would say Petreca.
Yeah, Petreca. A psychiatric nurse practitioner and assistant professor at Boston College says it's rare for these multiple, often conflicting diagnoses to occur in the same patient. But once Bacon's body was recovered, some of the past accusations against Latunsky began to paint a clearer picture. Now we're going back to October 2019. Just 2 months before Bacon's murder, 48-year-old James Carlson called 911, saying that he had escaped from Latunsky's basement after cutting himself free from his chains with a butcher knife. According to Carlson, he had traveled from New York to Michigan to meet Latunsky for sex. I'm sorry, but that man is so ugly. Like, I pull up the picture. It's embarrassing. Like, it is absolutely, this man should be put away for the rest of his life, and he is.
And to go all the way from New York to Michigan for him? Hey, no hate on
seriously.
No hate on Carlson, but
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. The following month, one of Latunsky's neighbors said he encountered a man covered in blood on his front porch saying, "He wants to hurt me." Latunsky arrived shortly thereafter, as did the Michigan State Police, who tended to the bleeding man but made no arrests. So this whole situation could have been prevented. And it just really bothers me because Kevin Bacon really does deserve justice. And he did get his justice, but he deserved to live. He really did. And obviously, the whole situation, he never thought that it was going to end up that way. But the fact that someone would literally eat somebody else's remains is beyond me.
Disgusting.
Yeah, and the fact that it literally happened right next door to me, kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. Yeah. Hey. Hey, people are crazy. Like, I don't... And this wasn't that long ago either. Literally 6 years ago. Okay. Now on to the third one. The pizza bomber. This one is insane. And I feel so bad for this man. It is so awful. On August 28th, 2003, Brian Wells made a pizza delivery in Erie, Pennsylvania, and it went horribly wrong when it ended with him dying thanks to a bomb locked around his neck. Yeah. Yeah. Wells' workday at Mamma Mia's Pizzeria was proceeding normal when an order came in at 1:30 p.m. The 46-year-old delivery man was sent to bring 2 small pizzas to an address on the outskirts of town. Pretty normal, just a normal day as a pizza delivery driver. Nothing going on, right?
Life.
Yeah, no, seriously. But when Brian Wells got to the address, everything quickly changed. Rather than a house, the location to which Wells had been sent was a TV transmission tower surrounded by woods. What exactly happened there remains mysterious, but we do know that someone locked a bomb collar around his neck and ordered him to rob a PNC bank in Erie or else he would explode. Terrifying. Terrifying. He's just trying to make a living delivering pizzas. It's so awful.
He just wants to deliver pizza.
Seriously. So began the story of the pizza bomber robbery case. One of the strangest bank heists in history. When he was 16 years old, Wells dropped out of high school to be a mechanic. Later, he took on other jobs, including a pizza delivery driver for Mamma Mia's Pizzeria in Erie. So this is who actually is behind it all. Majorie Deal Armstrong. And it starts with the story rife with conflict long before the pizza bomber case unfolded. She was born on February 26, 1949 in Erie. Surprisingly, Armstrong was a high-performing student and even served as her high school valedictorian. Insane. In her early 1970s, she was a successful graduate student pursuing a degree in education when she began struggling with bipolar disorder. Her mental health continued to deteriorate with age, and soon Armstrong began exhibiting violent behavior. In 1984, she shot and killed her boyfriend, Robert Thomas, while he laid on the couch. She later acquitted for the crime after claiming self-defense.
He was laying on the couch.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Insane. Again, the signs were there. When police searched her home, they found stacks of junk and rotten food, likely a result of her bipolar-driven hoarding compulsion. She also shot and killed her other boyfriend, James Roden, in 2003 after he threatened to tell the police about the pizza bombing plot. She would later stuff his body in a freezer. Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah. As expected, Brian Wells crossed paths with Armstrong and eventually escalated into a nightmare scenario as told the pizza bomber bank heist. Police created a barrier between themselves and Brian Wells while the bomb is strapped to his neck. When Brian Wells arrived at the PNC Bank, he handed the teller a note demanding why can't I say that? 250,000. There we go. 200. I'm so bad with numbers. Numbers are hard.
25.
6, 7.
Demanding $25.
250,000 within the next 15 minutes. He handed the teller a note demanding $250,000 within the next 15 minutes. However, the teller explained that she couldn't gather that big amount of money and only gave him $8,702. Even though Wells was carrying a gun and the person who locked the bomb around Wells' neck told him that he was being watched, a nervous and fearful Wells left the bank with only that $8,702.
I would too. I'm scared.
Yeah. No, are you kidding me? I'd be like, you know what? Just let it go off. Like, I'm done. Like, that is terrifying.
And you know what? Pull the trigger.
It's giving off, like, Jigsaw.
Yeah.
Like, that, that just gives me chills. Shortly after, the bank contacted the police, who quickly found Brian Wells standing outside his car in a nearby parking lot. That's when things took a deadly turn for the pizza bomber incident and began to hurtle towards its disturbing climax. Wells told the police that he had placed the bomb around his neck and that it would go off unless he completed a scavenger hunt. This hunt would eventually lead to the keys that he could use to free himself from this device. The collar exploded 3 minutes before the bomb squad arrived and 30 minutes after the robbery. It ripped a hole in his chest and he died on the pavement. Very, very unfortunate and sad. He was just living. Like, that's what just really makes me upset about these situations, that people are just living. And it's the crazies that ruin it. Yeah. Things grew more complicated 3 weeks after the bank robbery when a man named Bill Rothstein called police and confessed that there was a body in his freezer. Police soon found that body belonged to James Roden, Armstrong's former boyfriend. Initially, Rothstein told the police that Roden's dead body had nothing to do with the Wells case. Instead, he said that his ex-girlfriend, Armstrong, had killed Roden in a dispute over money and contacted Rothstein for help in disposing the body. He'd initially agreed to help, but now decided he wouldn't go through with it. Later, Rothstein claimed that Armstrong hatched the pizza bomber bank robbery plot because her father was squandering her multi-million-dollar inheritance and she needed money to pay a hitman to kill him before all the money was gone.
I'm sorry?
Yeah. Armstrong then killed Roden and he threatened to, because he threatened to tell the police the whole thing. Oh, okay, she was serving a life sentence plus 30 years for the role of the 2003 bank robbery, and she just died in prison because of natural causes. Yeah,
Damn.
That's just insane. I can't imagine, like, any minute that could just go off. Literally having that around your neck, and, like, any minute. That is so anxiety-filling. I can't do that.
And for this girl to be like, oh, my father is taking away my inheritance. Well, I need money to pay a hitman to kill my father because the money's going to go away.
No, seriously.
How about I take this guy who is trying to deliver pizzas and put a bomb around his neck?
No, seriously.
Hey, good idea.
Like,
what?
Yeah. Wow, I never thought about that. What an idea. Maybe you can just be a normal person.
Hey, life hack.
And live a normal life. Get a job.
Hey, get a job.
Get a job.
Hey, work.
Whatever. Zero empathy for that woman.
Yeah.
Weird
and crazy.
Yeah.
Well, now it's Gabby Petito's turn.
Which is one of the craziest stories ever.
Like,
ever.
wow.
I'm about to make her watch the documentary because
yeah,
it's
I
insane.
know. I haven't seen it yet.
You're gonna
Don't
have
spoil
to.
it.
No.
I'm
Well,
just
you're about to find out. Yeah.
Okay. Basically, we're just gonna go through the full timeline. So, we all know what goes on, you know what I mean? So, in August 2021, 22-year-old American traveling vlogger Gabrielle Venora Petito was killed by her fiancé, Brian Christopher Laundrie. Laundrie?
Yes.
Laundrie. While they were traveling together on a van life journey across the United States. The trip was planned to last for 4 months and began on July 2nd, 2021, but Petito disappeared on August 27th. After Petito's disappearance, Laundrie raised suspicion when he drove the van from Wyoming back to his parents' Florida home and refused to discuss her whereabouts. Okay. He was deemed a person of interest in the case, and an arrest warrant was issued on charges of making unauthorized withdrawals using her debit card. Hey, if you gotta get him somewhere, you gotta get him somewhere.
For real.
Dumb first of all. Anyway.
No, seriously. This man deserved nothing but the worst.
Yeah.
Gabby Petito is a beautiful woman. I stand by her, and domestic violence is disgusting.
Yeah. But yeah, basically he left his home on September 13th and was reported missing 4 days later. Okay, well. On September 19th, Petito's remains were found in Wyoming's the Tetons. Bridger Teton National Forest. An autopsy found that she was killed by blunt force injuries to her head and neck and manual strangulation. By the way, it's so difficult. This sounds weird, but I know this from listening to another podcast. Mm-hmm. It is so hard to strangle someone. Like, it is literally like you... That's why when people say, like,
you
oh,
quite
it was an
literally have
accident.
to be like...
Yeah. When people say, like, oh, it was an accident, it's like, no, you're sitting there for, like, a full, like, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, don't piss me off. So, July 2nd, the couple left New York for what was supposed to be a 4-month cross-country trip, and they were going to visit all the national parks, and this was coming from Jim Schmidt, who was Miss Petito's stepfather. They documented their travels on Instagram accounts and on YouTube.
No, I remember watching this, like, live. Like, I used to low-key, like, support her, and I would watch, like, all the posts, like, happening, yeah. It was insane, like, Instagram and stuff like that, because for some reason in 2021, I was just really obsessed with, like, that granola aesthetic.
Yes,
and,
the
like,
van life!
I literally saw her on Pinterest all the time, and, like, Instagram and stuff like that, and, like, Reels, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, what's happening?
June, July, August, yes. A month and 10 days later, on August 12th, Miss Petito published a photograph of herself on Instagram taken on the 9th of August, and she was sitting under an arch in the Arches? No, it's Arches.
Arches, yeah.
National Park in Utah.
Yeah, I know sometimes the national parks low-key like to have, like, you know, like Teton or, like...
Yeah. Oh, I called it Yosemite.
Yeah, or, like,
It's not Yosemite to
I thought
me.
it was Yosemite. It's Yosemite. I'm like...
yeah, Yosemite.
I'm like, that is the weirdest way to say it. Just call it Yosemite.
The same day that she posted the picture, the police in Moab, Utah, first of all, I'm scared of Utah. Anyways.
Me too. Everything bad happens in Utah, man. I don't trust anyone that's from Utah.
And if you live in Utah, good luck, Charlie.
Hey, good luck, Charlie.
Anyways, the police responded to a report of a domestic problem after Mr. Laundrie had some sort of argument with Miss Petito, according to a police report.
They were saying that he was, like, punching. Like, full, like, somebody driving by or, like, somebody, like, was standing on the side of the road. I can't really remember. But they recalled that he was straight up, like, punching her.
Oh
and, like,
gosh.
It was insane.
Thankfully that person, like, called in and wasn't like, oh, well, they're probably just, you know...
And
having a
the police made Laundrie sleep at a hotel, but then had Gabby Petito in the van, all alone. A woman alone in a van.
Hey, great idea.
Yeah, perfect. Absolutely perfect. It's awful.
Wow. Okay, well, what the hell?
It's always the police. They always will get called about something, but then they don't really do much about it.
Yeah,
and then something bad actually happens, or at least that's what's been happening in most cases.
Right.
At least,
yeah.
Love the police. Thank you for protecting us.
However,
like in some situations, they kind of don't really investigate.
They drop the ball.
Things more. Exactly.
Yeah. And that's a very bad position to be in when you drop the ball in that job.
Oh yeah, especially after the outcome of it.
Yeah. So when the police came and investigated, Mr. Laundrie and Miss Petito told the police that they were in love, engaged to be married, and desperately didn't wish to see anyone charged with the crime. According to the police report, Mr. Laundrie told an officer that issues between the two had been building over the last few days. Okay, so that doesn't mean you punch her, but okay.
No, seriously.
7 days later, August 19th, so a week later, the couple published an 8-minute video on YouTube titled Van Life, Beginning Our Van Life Journey. It showed them kissing, scaling rocks, and laughing about how the sun in Utah had melted the chocolate in Mr. Laundrie's granola. I love the van, Miss Petito said. Okay, that sounded like I was making fun of her. I love the van, Miss Petito said, smiling at Mr. Laundrie. And then, about August 23rd to 24th, Mr. Schmidt, again, Petito's dad, said he and Miss Petito's mother, Nicole Schmidt, last spoke with Miss Petito on a FaceTime call at about this time. He said Miss Petito told them that she and Mr. Laundrie were leaving Utah and driving to Grand Teton National Park in Wyoming. Mr. Schmidt said Miss Petito texted her mother a few times after that. The last post on her Instagram account was published on August 25th. Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
August 30th, Nicole Schmidt said she received a text from her daughter's phone, according to the New York Post. The text said, no service in Yosemite. Not Yosemite.
Yosemite. But also about that text, Nicole thought that it was very weird and she kind of had a vibe it wasn't Petito.
Yeah, because no service in Yosemite.
Normally, like, she was more, like, open about what she was doing and stuff like that.
Yeah, like, oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
That came from Ms. Schmidt. Now we're into September. 1st of September, Mr. Laundrie returned to his home in North Point, Florida, right? In the white Ford van that the couple had used for the trip. And it was also registered to Miss Petito, and he was alone. Dumb again. September 11th, Miss Petito's family reported her missing. And so it is kind of crazy that it was 10 days after that they reported her missing when they got back on the 1st, and then...
Yeah.
But he was alone. So... A little scary, but hey, it's like you don't think that your daughter's like missing, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Then on the 15th, the police described Mr. Laundrie as a person of interest, saying that he was the last person known to have been with Miss Petito. Whoops. To have been with Miss Petito before she went missing. Chief Todd Garrison of the Northport Police posted a plea on Twitter addressed to Stephen Bertolino, Mr. Laundrie's lawyer, asking him to arrange a conversation with Mr. Laundrie. And then the lawyer said he had advised Mr. Laundrie not to speak with authorities, which is like, okay, I guess. Officials at Grand Teton National Park said rangers were working with investigators from the National Park Service, the FBI, and other local authorities to find Miss Petito. Now, a day later, Chief Garrison said at a news conference that Mr. Laundrie was exercising his constitutional right not to speak with authorities, and that investigators were still treating the search as a missing persons case.
I hate men.
Right.
I hate men.
I don't want to talk to them. It's like, that's the thing with criminal justice attorneys. It's like, they do have to do their job, but sometimes it just sucks that they have to do their job.
Yeah.
Joseph Petito,
really
Miss Petito's father, appeared at the news conference and pleaded for tips and help from the community in finding his daughter. Miss Petito's parents and step-parents also made a public plea directly to Mr. Laundrie's parents, begging them to reveal where Brian left Gabby, period. We asked you to put yourself in our shoes, they said in a letter, which was read by their lawyer, Richard Stafford. We haven't been able to sleep or eat, and our lives are falling apart. Day later, Mr. Laundrie's parents summoned the police to their home and told them that they haven't seen Mr. Laundrie since the 14th. And another day later, Northport police announced that they were searching the Carlton Reserve, a 25,000 acre park about 13 miles from North Point, for Mr. Laundrie. Mr. Laundrie's family said that they believe he entered the area earlier this week, police said on Twitter. The FBI said that they were searching the Grand Teton National Park and the Spread Creek Dispersed Camping Area, both in Wyoming, for Miss Petito. On the 19th, human remains believed to belong to Miss Petito were found in a national forest in Wyoming, and that came from the FBI. An agent said that the remains were consistent with a description of Miss Petito, but added that a full forensic identification was still needed to confirm. The authorities in Florida searched for Mr. Laundrie in a 24,560 acre
you're better than me.
park. Yeah. Hey, I don't know. Whoa.
Numbers are hard for me. I don't know what it is.
But I get it though. Acre Park in Sarasota County, called the Carlton Reserve. The police in North Point, Florida, said that their search at the Carlton Reserve had ended with nothing new to report, so they couldn't find him. Perfect.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
Next day, federal agents executed a search warrant at the Laundrie's family home in Northport, the FBI in Tampa said. It was said that the warrant was related to the investigation but gave no further details, which is like, okay. I'm glad, though, that this is happening, like, day after day. Like, they're not like, okay, a week later, you know?
Yeah. Also, I didn't add about Laundrie because, I don't know, he literally killed her, and I'm sorry, that's insane to me, and I didn't really feel like... But about a month later, his remains were found. It was kind of crazy. Hold on. He was found in Florida, where skeletal remains were discovered in a previous flooded area. The discovery was made after Laundrie's parents helped investigators by leading them to the trail their son was frequently at. So it just all seems a little weird that the parents found him after it was a whole search for him because they couldn't find him. And then all of a sudden he's just dead with remains. Also, mind you, it was just a very weird situation because, I don't know, I don't want to get into it. Like, the way that Gabby's body was there for way longer and she wasn't decomposed, but literally, like, Laundrie was found in a shorter amount of time, but he was completely bones.
I was going to say skeletal?
Yeah, like, it's just insane to me. The FBI confirmed the remains belonged to Laundrie using dental records. Which is crazy.
He died by suicide, is the thing?
Yeah. Speaking of O'Brien.
Yeah. On September 21st, that's when they said that the forensic examination had confirmed that the remains were Miss Petito, and the manner of death was a homicide. Which is just...
It's so sad, because she just wanted to explore the world. She did.
She really did. Yeah. Van
sad.
life.
Yeah, van life forever.
Literally. Damn.
Rest in peace, girl.
Yeah. Speaking of Brian.
Yeah, no, speaking of Brian's, what's up with the name Brian?
I don't know, my dad's middle name is Brian.
This one's terrifying.
Yeah,
I lock my door at night because of this. It's awful.
Literally. We lock our door, anyways. So, Brian Kohberger, that's what this story is about. Ring a bell? I don't know. If it does for you, then those who know.
Yeah.
In November 2022, 4 University of Idaho students, Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves?
Yes.
Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin.
There you go.
And I need to say their names because their names are important, obviously, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, say their names. They were just college students like we are. Literally just getting an education. It really sucks. This one hits way too close to home.
Way too close.
Yeah.
They were murdered in their Moscow, Idaho home. The case became a high-profile investigation, ultimately leading to the arrest of graduate student Brian Kohberger. Evidence such as DNA from a knife sheath left at the scene and cell phone data eventually linked Kohberger to the crime, and he was later sentenced to life in prison after pleading guilty. Thank God he was a dumb and left his knife sheath there at the scene.
Seriously.
So, here's the murders. On November 13th, 2022, Mogan and Gonsalves were stabbed to death in a third-floor bedroom, while Kernodle and Chapin were killed in a second-floor bedroom. The attack occurred between 4 and 4:25 a.m., though the surviving roommates did not call the police until around noon the next day.
And the reasoning for that is because Mogan and Gonsalves were both partying and were out that evening, and they came back pretty late, and when all of the killings were happening at that time, the roommates didn't really know what was happening. Right. They were just like, what's going on? And Dylan, one of the roommates, was down in the basement, and no, she was actually on the floor where the sliding door was, and she was too scared to obviously go see because it was just a lot of hectic noises, and I get scared at night. Like, I don't like to leave my room at night either. Like, I don't blame her. And I know that it became a whole thing. Like, people were like, they're lying. Like, the roommates did it. And no, they did not.
They did not.
No, they were just scared to leave their house or, like, their room.
Probably still a little drunk, too, let's be honest.
No, they all were. That was the whole thing. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Dylan reported seeing a masked man with bushy eyebrows leaving the house at around 4:15.
And that ugly man does have some bushy eyebrows.
Probably does.
He has very bushy eyebrows. It's terrifying. He's gross.
My stomach is growling. Shh. Okay. So, for the investigation, the police initially struggled to identify a subject, but a tip from a Tinder date provided chilling details about the suspect's interest in the worst way to die. Okay. And the K-bar knife used in the crime. Okay.
Yeah, no, he was always obsessed with, like, questions about, like, I wonder what people felt when they were dead. Or, like, while they were dying. Or, like,
hey, the
how
signs
does
were
it
there.
feel? Yeah, no, seriously, like, I wonder how it felt to, like, I wonder how it feels to stab people and, like, what it feels like for, like, a knife to, he's so weird.
Yeah, probably not good.
Yeah, he's a weirdo.
Investigators identified a white Hyundai Elantra seen near the crime scene around the time of the murders and linked it to Brian Kohberger, who was a WSU student. Is that
Washington
State?
Yes.
Investigators found DNA evidence on a knife sheath. I cannot say that very well.
Sheath.
Knife sheath. Say that 5 times fast.
No, seriously.
Left at the scene that matched Kohberger. Thank God there was a conviction. Kohberger was arrested in December of 2022, which is pretty fast. November to December.
Yeah.
Thank God. And then in July 2025, he pleaded guilty to the murders as a part of a plea deal that removed the possibility of the death penalty. And, of course, he was sentenced to life in prison. Thank God. Rot in the prison system, please. Rot. Okay.
So these next paragraphs kind of get more in depth about, like, what they were doing before the events that led up to it, so people actually understand, like
that it wasn't them.
Mm-hmm. And also, mind you, Kohberger was stalking them for a decent amount of time, like, behind the scenes and stuff like that. It was insane. It was insane. And he deserves nothing but the worst.
Damn. And it's, I always, Kernodle.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Thank God. Okay. So, reeling it back, let's go to November 12th of 2022. Starting at around 9 p.m., Kernodle and Chapin are seen at a party at Chapin's fraternity Sigma Chi.
Yeah.
It's Chi, right?
Yeah, Sigma Chi.
Sigma Chi.
I don't know any of these frat
I'm a
names.
senior.
So, too many. Just why don't we all have a frat together that's just like frat? You know, frat. Sigma Ligma.
Sigma Ligma frat.
Perfect.
Balls.
Perfect.
Anyway, Sigma Chi was a short walk from the King Road apartment house where the roommates lived, according to the investigators. That night, Gonsalves uploads pictures to her Instagram account featuring photos of their friends with the caption, "One lucky girl to be surrounded by these people every day," which is heartbreaking.
That is awful. That's literally, like, stuff that I would post.
Yeah.
And it could have been any of us. Like, I just need to make that clear. Like, we all go to, like, it's just insane to me that it could have straight up been any of us. Even though it happened in Idaho, like, it can happen anywhere. Because, like, Idaho, like, I would probably expect, like, a potato robbery from Idaho. Not this. Not this. It's insane to me.
Great potato robbery. Yeah. Anyways, very depressing thing to post for your last post. At about 10 p.m., Gonsalves and Mogan went to a sports bar in Moscow at the corner, which is called the Corner Club. Now we're in November 13th, because early morning. At about 1:30 a.m., Gonsalves and Mogan are seen ordering from a nearby food truck, according to the truck's live stream. A truck's live stream? Hey, fire.
Yeah.
Investigators say that Kernodle and Chapin returned to their 3-level house on King Road at about 1:45, while Gonsalves and Mogan take a car ride home, arriving at about 1:56. Okay, so we're almost at 2. Meanwhile, 2 other housemates who had gone out that night had arrived home before the others at about 1 a.m., Moscow police say. Then at 11:58 a.m., a 911 call is placed on the cell phone of one of the other housemates requesting assistance for an unconscious person. Both housemates were unarmed.
And you can find that body cam footage online. Basically, what happened was that they all were too scared to see, because they were texting their roommates, like Dylan and the other roommate were texting all the other roommates asking if they were okay and stuff like that, and they weren't getting any response, so they were scared. And they called up one of their other friends to come over and check to see what happened, and to his surprise, he walked in on Xana dead in her room, and they called 911. And it just makes me sad that people blamed them, the roommates, for it.
Right, like, what?
Yeah, it's just...
So there was more roommates in this 3-level house than just the 4 of them, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's... Okay, yeah, the housemates.
Yeah,
and
so
they were
basically,
there the whole time.
It was Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, and then the 2 surviving roommates was Dylan and Bethany were at the house at the time but were unharmed, and they were texting each other, mind you, while it was happening because they heard a scream, but also the next morning because they straight up were getting no response from anyone, but they were just like, oh, maybe they're drunk, but then as time went on, it just got worse and worse and worse. And yeah. And also, mind you, Brian Koberger was a criminology graduate student. I gotta put that out there. Yeah. Criminology.
Okay, well, he didn't read his fucking notes because he got caught. Like,
it's just... no, seriously, like, come on. You're getting your master's in criminology and you can't cover up your own crime? You are a awful person and your eyebrows are too bushy. But I think we should send it now to our investigation at Warner Hall.
Guys.
I don't know what happened there, but there was some paranormal activity at the end. Not even in the building. Outside the building. It was so weird. Of course, it wasn't when we were recording either.
Of course.
So, I promise it happened. It happened. And don't forget to make some time for some crime. Not actual crime, though. Like, don't do any crimes now. Don't do any crimes now. But save some time for crime time. I'm Kayla Herrick.
And I'm Michaela Jarrett.
See you guys next time. Bye!